So the Oscars are this Sunday, and I thought I'd discuss another film that I believe is heavily underappreciated, or was heavily underappreciated, and overlooked at in 2019. This film is up there with One Child Nation. It is phenomenal. It is hilarious and dramatic whenever it needs to be, and it blends the two so organically and beautifully, and it's just so well crafted. Now the film itself is, as you read in the title, Secret Anymore. And yes, it's a hilarious title, and it's a hilarious movie, but there's more to the movie than just the title name and just the jokes. It is phenomenal. And I'll be splitting this video into two parts, discussing the first half of the film, which will be spoiler free and discussing whatever happens in the first half. And the second half of this video will be the second half of the film, because I really believe it does a complete 180 to the tone of the film, and it's just so phenomenal. Now this film is distributed and produced by A24, and if that's not enough to make you jizz your pants and rent or buy this film, then by all means continue watching the spoiler-free and spoiler review of this film. No secret anymore. Now the film centers around three friends, Earl, Zeke, and Dick, who decide to have, and I quote,
"I just want to get weird."
There's a whole montage of these guys doing crazy things like shooting fireworks out of their dicks, drinking a lot of beer, burning a couch while one of them is sleeping, pissing on the burning couch, etc., etc. And after this montage, Earl and Zeke, two of the three friends, just drop off Dick's dead body in front of a hospital. We don't know why he died, how he died, whatsoever. It's in the first 5 minutes of this film, and we know no further context of his death. They just drop him off in front of a hospital, and that's it. The next day, Earl and Zeke go back home, Earl back to his wife and child, and Zeke back to his trailer park. Now I want to mention another thing, a bit of a tangent. No secret anymore. This film is set in Alabama, which is a fantastic choice of location. Just like the Florida Man, this film is very kind of like, oh, it's Bama, makes sense. There's a lot of like little jokes that happen in the background of this film or behind the main characters that make you say, oh yeah, that's Bama. Like in the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of this film, we have an old lady that's mowing her lawn. At one part of her lawn, it's like a steep hill. In order for her to mow it, she ties a rope to the lawnmower and starts pulling and pushing back and forth the lawnmower on the side of the steep hill. It's ingenious, it is stupid, and it's very Bama. There's a lot of little things that happen like this, and it really just builds up to the reveal of how Dick died. It's a very Alabama and Southern result. It's a completely out of left field, it's crazy and wild, and it's ingenious. Now back to the story at hand. The first half of this film is, as I mentioned, how done it, and we as the audience have no idea what's going on, and we're giving very little context, and whatever is revealed to us is mostly to whatever the two police officers that are in the film discovering themselves. Wherever they discover, we're discovering it ourselves as the audience. Earl and Zeke are don't ever really discuss it, they try to ignore it, and they mostly focus on hiding their tracks and creating this concrete, solid alibi as to where they were when Dick died. Now this might be a spoiler, so skip to this timestamp. No secret anymore. But from the get-go, our two leads, Earl and Zeke, are automatically terrible at hiding evidence. And it is so refreshing to see this happen because their ideas of hiding evidence is so dumb, not well thought out, it's so crazy, and I think it's an honest portrayal of how people, just two ordinary people, would react when something tragic happens. They don't want to be accused of killing Dick if they didn't do it, which again, we as an audience don't know, but we see these two characters trying to cover up their tracks, trying to create this great alibi, but it's all crumbling throughout this film. Nothing of their story ever makes sense. Nothing is ever perfectly simple and clean.
You were with Dick last night.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, but like just for like a little while. I left early.
It is all out of order, and it's so cringy to watch. It's amazing because you know that they're gonna fail at the end of the film, but it's just wondering how is it going to fail. So yes, the first half of the film is very joke-centric, how done it, and whenever we're given clues as to how Dick died, it's very 1,000 Ways to Die-esque. Each clue that's being given to us is more out of left field and just kind of like a brain turner, making you go, then how the fuck did this guy die? One clue that the doctors discover is that Dick died through some harsh penetration, or like his organs are all kinds of fucked up. Well, what happened? The doctors mentioned that it is like to the extreme. They don't know what could have like penetrated him, but something gargantuous. It's little things like this that just keeps you more entertained and just on the edge of your seat and wanting to know what happened to this character. That's all I can really say for the non-spoiler part, because the first half is very joke-centric, very how-done-it, and the second half takes a complete 180, which I'll be discussing right now. So if that wasn't enough to convince you, then continue watching, I guess, because it is phenomenal.
Secret anymore.
At the halfway mark of the film, it is revealed to us how Dick died, and it is crazy. It's the best way to explain this. It's crazy. Earl reveals to his wife that Dick died through anal penetration from a horse. He was butt-fucked by a horse, or how the British might like to say it, equestrian penetration, if I do say so myself. It is disturbing. The wife is in shock. Earl is almost coming to tears, and it just pauses for a moment. Like, it's just a breather. There's no joke. There's nothing happening in the background. It's just these two characters reacting to this revelation. Now, not only is this revealed, but also that Earl himself participated in the act. He himself had sex with this horse. And furthermore, not only did he have sex with this horse, but also during the 8 years that he's been with his wife, and more. Even before he met his wife, he's been with this horse, whose name is Comet, by the way. I think I should mention that, because it's obviously important to the film or the review. He has sex with his horse for over 8 years since he was a teenager. It is disgusting. There are no more jokes anymore. It's shocking. But after this sits with you for a while, and after this has been revealed, it just leaves you almost sad and pitiful for this man, because he reveals to his wife that he's been in this relationship with the horse because ever since he was a teenager, he's felt very lonely. He had no one to interact with. He had no emotional or physical intimacy. The only thing he ever had that was intimate with him was his horse. It's just such a sad reality of his mental health. And maybe that's what this film does too, is a social commentary on mental health issues. Throughout the rest of this film, Earl tries everything he can to save him and the horse. Obviously his marriage as well, but he's trying to balance all these different things together. And it's just so raw, no pun intended, it's so raw and unnerving, and it just makes you feel pitiful towards this man. It's so pathetic to see him attempt to cling on to his horse, his family, his life, and try to piece all back together like it was before. It's sad, disheartening, and just leaves you in this gray, cringy area of not knowing how to feel anymore. If you should feel bad for him, be disgusted by him, want him to go to jail, want him not to go to jail. It just, again, leaves you in this gray area. You feel bad for him, you feel bad for the family. You're left wondering what's going to happen to this family now. Is the wife going to reveal to the cops how Dick died and that Earl was part of the act? Is she going to keep it a secret and live a happy marriage life like it never happened? We just don't know anymore. Another great thing is that none of these characters have been in this situation before, to the audience's knowledge. And their reactions and emotions and their choices of what to do are very human. It seems like a normal Alabama family at first that are thrown in this out of left field crazy situation, and they don't know how to handle it. It was a man who was murdered by a horse and a wife whose husband was a part of it. How do you deal with this information? It's a murder case on one hand, but on the other hand, it's this marriage story that's falling apart. It's brutal, and you have no idea where it's going to go. That's what the rest of the second half of this film really explores, is this family's decision, these characters' decisions of what to do. It's going to ruin their public image in this community in Alabama. It's going to ruin their family. It's going to ruin everything that they have. The tensions and stakes are extremely high, and we have 40 minutes left of runtime, and you're wondering what the hell is gonna happen. And as I mentioned before, these characters are terrible at creating this concrete alibi and hiding evidence. Our two leads even hide the car in which Dick's body was thrown in before they arrive to the hospital, where there's blood everywhere. They hide the car in this very shallow lake where the bottom half or the back half of the trunk is still showing at the lake. It's like, that's not a good way of hiding evidence. It's so cringy, it's so shocking, because you know that they're going to fail. It's just, how are they going to fail? What's going to happen afterwards? And it makes for such a beautiful ending, and I don't want to spoil the ending. It's very sad and disheartening. The best way I can describe this film, by comparing with other films, is Marriage Story meets Shut Up and Dance. It's brutal, honest, and just leaves you with this bad taste in your mouth. There's no more humor, there's no more jokes. It's just this marriage just falling apart, and this public image of theirs that's falling apart as well. What does a quote-unquote normal family do once they're thrown this crazy, high-octane almost situation? Are they going to stick together? Are they going to lie for each other? Are they going to ignore that this happened? It's phenomenal. I truly recommend you to watch this. You can watch it on, I think, on Google Play. You can rent it for like $1, I believe. That's what me and my friend did. Go and watch it before the Oscars so you can, be pissed that I wasn't nominated for an Oscar last year. And thank you guys for watching. Like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And check out my channel if you want for more content. And if you don't, then that's completely fine too. You do you. Anyways, you guys have a great day. See ya.